الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Okay, so today we are going to do a review of gender. Yeah, this was a request made by one of you, so I thought it would be a good idea because there are a few things about gender that we need to brush up on, maybe inshallah. After this, inshallah, if we have the time, I will go over some of the questions that was brought up when we did the quiz. Yes, so inshallah, I hope to do that for tonight. Okay, gender. When we talk about gender, we are talking about a noun, yes, an isim. The four properties of an isim, and gender is one of them. So what, in terms of gender, we have to look at it from three viewpoints, yeah, 3 points of view. Okay, this is something I've taken from Quran Corpus. Yeah, they did a write-up on gender, and I thought I would use their material to explain to you the meaning of gender. And I'd like to explain it to you in English, the terminology in English, yeah, not so much in Arabic, because we need to know the English wordings as well, because when you go into the internet and you Google things up, yeah, there will be articles in English, and some of the terms are really very English. Yeah, sometimes we don't understand what it means. So I thought I'd do this with you so that if you do find something written in English about the Arabic that we are learning, right? At least you know what the terms are, yeah, or the terms that are often used, and at least, yeah? If not all the terms that they use. Okay, so we have three words here, big words: semantic, morphemic, and grammatic. Yeah, so this one is not just for Arabic, yeah, for other languages as well, yeah, not just for Arabic, yeah. The actual meaning of semantic is actually more than what I put in brackets here, but I just want you to understand it on the surface, okay? So at least you know roughly what it is going into. Yeah, morphemic is the form, the actual word. Semantic is in terms of meaning. Yes, and grammatic, we know. This is how we use the word in a sentence and things like that. Yeah, so semantic, morphemic, grammatic. You can think of morphemic as soft, but it's not quite soft. Okay, it's not quite soft. All right. So when you talk about semantic gender, you saw the drawing that I had before this. Yes, we are actually talking about masculine and feminine. Okay, in terms of meaning, masculine and feminine, and usually we think of male and female. This is the actual man and woman. Yeah, feminine and masculine, the in endings imply that it might not be human. Okay, imply it might not be human. But when we talk about female and male, we're talking about probably people as well as animals. No, animals also have female and male. Okay, so semantic gender is determined by the meaning of a noun. Okay, the reality basically. So when we talk about boy, brother, men, obviously we're talking about males. Yeah, and when we talk about girl, sister, women, we're talking about female. And the reality is things like table, chairs, and furniture do not have any gender. Okay, but in language they may. Yeah, but in language they may, but in reality they don't. None. Yeah, they don't have any gender. So according to semantic gender, the words like hamil, pregnant, and bint, yeah, are feminine because they signify females. Yeah, but we talk about talha. This is a man's name, and a noun like mu'akibatun. Yeah, this is the plural of mu'akib. Yeah, and it is it actually means something like a guardian angel. So this is a role that is attributed to angels, and both are masculine because angels are masculine. They are males. Yeah, we don't have female angels, we have male angels. And then words such as karasi, yeah, this is the plural for chairs. They don't have semantic gender, real gender. Yeah, this is what we mean by semantic. Then we talk about morphemic gender. In the picture I showed in the first slide, there was a dress and a suit. Okay, so it's something that we associate with being a man, what we associate with being a woman. Yeah. So when we talk about morphemic gender, we're looking at the word and how it's written. Yeah, how the word is written. So let's have a look. They can both be real or fake. Yeah. So another name for this is illusory gender. Illusory gender, yeah, meaning something that it's like a figurative thing, yeah. Okay, so when I said that we wear clothes to signify whether we're a man or a woman, yeah. So the word in this case for a rabbit, we have tamabuta or an at suffix, the ta at the ends, right, to show that it is feminine. So in this case, we have the word khalifa, yeah. Morphemically, it is feminine, yeah. In terms of sarf, in terms of the word form, because of the tamabuta, this is feminine. But in meaning, in real life, we are talking about the khalif. He's a man, yeah, usually he's a man. Then we have things like un and in. We saw this, yeah, in our Muslim chart, yeah, Muslimun, Musliman, yeah, Muslimin. So the n sound is masculine, while the tah sound tend to be feminine. Then we have what we call grammatical gender. So once we have established whether the word is masculine or feminine, then whatever else, how we treat it in the sentence will follow that. Yeah. So dependent on the meaning or the form, semantic or morphemic. So let's look at some rules that we need to learn about grammatical gender. Now, grammatical gender is also known as functional gender, not illusory, the one that we saw just now. Yeah. So it determines how words such as nouns and adjective function syntactically. In other words, in the sentence, how does it function? Yeah, whether it is a maf'ul, whether it's mubtada, that's how we look at it. Okay. Now, parts of speech. This is what I mean when I say maf'ul, fi'il, fa'il. These are part of speeches. Plurality, yeah, whether it's singular, it's dual, yeah, whether it's many. And rationality, whether it's aqil or ghair aqil, yeah. So this is how we determine the gender grammatically. How the gender affects the sentence grammatically. So there are two prominent syntactic constructions, yeah, which are relevant to gender agreement, and this is adjective, mausuf sifah, and numbers. Adad. Yeah, we learned that for mausuf sifah, we follow in all four properties, including gender. Yeah, and numbers, they have their own set of rules. Yeah, because one day, inshallah, we'll do something on numbers, but not tonight. Not tonight. We're just going to concentrate on gender and how it affects adjectives and numbers in general, but we are not going to do anything on numbers per se, yeah? Because numbers have their own ruling. It depends on the range of numbers that you're looking at. Yeah, how it behaves will depend on the range of numbers that you're looking at. Yeah, from 1 to 2, 3 to 10. Yeah, and when it is what we call compound numbers, when it's 10 plus 1, 10 plus 2, 10 plus 3, yeah, so it behaves differently as we go according to the group of numbers. Now, adjectives and gender, we know this rule already very well, the sifa. So for adjectives, the first sentence says, singular nouns agree in semantic gender if this is masculine or feminine, but not if the gender is none, meaning that if it's a chair, it's a different story. It depends on how we look at the chair. Yeah, they agree with morphemic gender if the semantic gender is none. Okay. Singular nouns agree in semantic gender. What was semantic gender again? in terms of meaning, if this is masculine or feminine. They agree in morphemic gender, how the word is written, if the meaning of the gender is not, meaning that if it's a chair, but you write the word chair with a tamabuta at the end of it, then you will treat it as feminine. Yeah, you get what I mean? So how you write the word. If it has the sign of female, you will treat it as female. If that thing you're looking at in real life doesn't have a gender, it's not alive, okay? Then the plural noun rules for agreement use the feature of rationality, غير akil or akil. Remember, we learned that when it is rational, it's something that you can think, then you will make sure the gender agrees with what is in real life. This one we saw, human plurals. Yeah, human plurals depend on whether it's male or female. That's all. That's all that this word is saying. Yeah. For irrational plurals, however, non-human plurals, we always treat it as singular feminine. This is what we learned. Yeah. Non-human broken plural or non-human plurals, we usually take it as feminine singular. All right. So this is why when we see karasi, which is masculine plural for kursi, it takes kabira, feminine singular, as an adjective. Why? Because it's ghair akil. Okay, ghair akil. Nothing new here. It's just wordings that make it look so unfamiliar. But we know this. We know this, yeah? So if it is a real female, single female, we treat it as a single female. If it is a real male and he's just one, so we treat him as a single man. Yeah, if it's a group of men, a group of men, a group of ladies, a group of ladies. That's all that it's saying here. But when it comes to irrational plurals, when it is a group of chairs, then we take it as feminine singular. Yeah, a group of ships, the same thing. Yeah, unless of course it is what we call things like how do you call it, when it is like a nation. Yeah, a nation, for example. That one, although in English we treat it as singular, in Arabic we treat it as plural. Yeah, that's the only thing that is different. Yeah. Any questions so far?
No.
No, good. Alhamdulillah. So now numbers and gender, adad. Yeah, we just touch on this. We don't want to go too much into it. Yeah. The thing that is important to remember, the gender polarity, yes, is in reverse order. Okay, it's in reverse order for numbers that is in the singular form of the word, regardless of the morphemic gender of its plural. Meaning, if the word that is plural has a tama buta on it, we are not going to treat the number as feminine. We are going to go, we're going to look at the singular form first, and then we decide. Okay? We don't go, okay, the plural for this ma'dud, the thing being counted, is feminine. So we automatically give the number feminine as well. No, no, no. We have to look at the singular form. Yeah, we have to look at the singular form. So example, we have 5 folders. 5 folders. And folders, when it is plural, we treat it as sijillatun. Atun, yeah, this is the normal plural, not broken plural, but it's still plural. So we have to look at the singular form of folders, which is sijil. And this is masculine. Because this is masculine, we follow this rule, it's a reverse gender, then the number will become feminine. Okay, got that? Regardless of, because we're talking about more than 2, right? We're talking about 5, 6 or something like that. Yeah. So we need to look at the singular form of the ma'dud, the thing that is being counted, and then only we give the gender to the number. Yeah. So since the singular form is masculine, then the number will be feminine. In this case, yeah, we gave it hamsun because for maktabat, yeah, it is actually maktabah. Yeah, so that means it is feminine. So that's why the number is masculine. Okay, got that? No problem there. Sister Alin, are you following?
Yes.
Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. So the golden rule is, with all that I have said before this, yeah, just remember that what we need to know is to recognize the feminine, whether it's fake or real, yeah, and then everything else, masculine. Just recognize your feminine. Everything else is considered masculine. Okay, that sounds reasonable. Yeah, that sounds reasonable, but sometimes we get confused. Now, why do we get confused? Because sometimes we get the rules mixed up. The rules that get mixed up are normally three. That's the three headings that we look at, and then we get the rules mixed up between these three headers. One, the question of gender. Two, the question of partial flexibility. Three, plurals. How do we treat the number? The rule somehow gets mixed up. And then sometimes you're thinking of a rule for partially flexible, but actually you're looking at gender. Yeah, and then sometimes you're looking at gender, and then actually you're thinking of numbers. Yeah, so sometimes your rules get mixed up. So that's where we need to look at the word carefully, ask yourself, am I looking at the gender, the number, or am I looking at its flexibility? Yeah, so then you know where it falls in. But tonight we're just doing gender. Now, this is a chart that I found off the internet. It was quite close to what I was looking for. I didn't make a new one, but it's not perfect. But let's see whether it helps us. Yeah, it helps us. So we have a noun. And of course, if you see things like the ism ishara, we know that it is a female. It's masculine. You use haza. If you see the word being used with haza, you know it's masculine. If it's hazihi, you know it's feminine. Okay, and all the other ism ishara. But of course, if you don't have the ism ishara, then you have to look at the verbs that go along with the word. Yeah, we have to look at the verbs and see how the verbs are conjugated. Is it conjugated with a female doer or is it conjugated with a male doer? And that's how we normally decide, yeah, whether the noun is masculine or feminine. Okay, in terms of masculine, not much of a problem. You're either a real male or you're a fake male, okay? So real, we say it's hakiki, and fake, we say it's majazi. Yeah, majazi or figurative. But feminine, in this case, this particular chart, it tries to break it down into two other categories according to what we were talking about just now. The word, how it's written, and the meaning of that word. Yeah. So if we're looking at meaning, then we have to figure out whether it's real, is it female, or is it just figurative? Yeah. Whether it's a real female or whether it's figurative. Then we look at the actual word, not just the meaning. And then we have to decide from the word, the form of the word, is this male, real male, or is it fake feminine? That means it's not really female, yeah? And is it male or not? Yeah, so male or fake feminine from the form of the word, how it's written, whether it's written, the ending has alif mamdudah at the end, alif maksura at the end, yeah, whether it has an at the end, is it atun, is it tani or tiny, you know? So this one we have to look. That's the form. And then we have to decide, is this male or fake feminine? When I say this, that means we are ruling out the fact that it is female. But if we know, maybe in the form, it is not written with, you know, your alif maksura, alif mamduda, doesn't have a tamabuta, but we know for sure this is a female because this is how a female is called Yeah, like mother, for example. You won't say a mother is a man. Then we say, in terms of meaning, this is female. Yeah, we're sure of this. We recognize this word to be female. Okay, in other words, we recognize the word to be female. Then the other thing is easier, is when it has all the signs of feminine, being feminine, the one, like I said, the tamabuta or the art. Yeah, not, it doesn't have an and an ending or anything. Yeah, so we know for sure. And at the same time, we also know it's also female. So this is what Ustad says, every bit of female. In terms of writing the word, in terms of the meaning, we know that this is female, then no problem. Yeah, halas. Okay? So this is the special thing about the feminine thing. It's not so straightforward about the masculine. That's why the emphasis is know your feminine, then everything else is masculine. Okay? So let's see whether the Arabic form of this chart makes sense. Okay, the same thing written in Arabic, but I've given you some examples. So maybe this might make it clearer, all right? So then we said just now, this was masculine, this was feminine. And then we said this is hakiki, it's real, majazi, it's fake. So words like Muhammad, you know it's a man's name. Asad, it's a man's name. Muallim, muallimun is a male teacher, right? Male teacher. If it was a female teacher, it would have been muallimatun. Yeah, something like that. So majazi, these are things that the Arabs treat as masculine, but they do not. No, they do not how do we say? The English word will procreate, meaning that they don't get married, they don't have children, they don't breed. Yeah. So, but they treat it as masculine. And this is the mountain, the door, dust. Yeah. So the earth. Sorry. Yeah. So this is how they treat. They treat these as masculine. Okay. But remember, when we studied gender, we just look at the feminine side. We weren't looking at the masculine names per se. We studied things like, because the Arab said so, these are feminine. We just had to remember that. So everything else would be masculine. Yeah. So here, in terms of meaning, we divide again in terms of meaning and in terms of wording. Reality, Su'ad is a lady's name. Samakatun is fish. Yeah, and fish that give birth. So the Arabs, they define being female when you can give birth. Okay, when you can give birth. You carry a child, you give birth, or if you're a fish, you carry eggs and you give birth. So that's what they consider as feminine. Yeah, feminine. Then, of course, there's majazi. This is things like, because the Arabs say so, the sky is feminine. Buhaira is a lake, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's a body of water, is also feminine. Yeah, things like that. So in terms of meaning, real and fake, these are both feminine. Then in terms of the wording, the form of the word. So here we see the name Talha. It could be, what are the names? That is Hamza, for example, or maybe, what's the other one that's a famous example? Can't think of it. Never mind. But Talha Hamza, you know what I mean? It's a man's name. It has Tamabuta, but it's a man's name. Yeah. So this is what we call in terms of form. Yeah. Sahara is the desert. Kubra means greatest. Yeah. This is a part of your comparatives. Yeah. So this is in terms of how it is written with Mamduda, with
Is
Mansur. Yes.
the comparative all feminine or no?
Sorry, what is feminine? I didn't hear that.
The comparative word like kubra.
Oh, yes. The greatest is feminine.
Okay, all right.
If that means the smallest, the greatest, the superlative is usually treated as feminine. Yeah. And then here we know for sure the name Hind is a woman's name. Zainab is a woman's name. Mother is also meant to be feminine. Yeah. I put this in the note. There's a note towards the end where we actually highlight this point. Yeah? You raise a good point. So in this case, not only is the word a feminine form, yes, but the meaning is also feminine. Yeah, like Fatima, Najla, yeah, Laila. These are all women's names. Okay, so not that difficult to understand. It's just that this looks a bit as if there's some duplication in a way, yeah? Because this is like hakiki makna, real meaning. This is also like real meaning, yeah? So there seems to be how do you say, like a duplication. I would have preferred actually if we didn't have this two and we just say mu'annas lafzi, mu'annas ma'nawi, mu'annas lafzi ma'nawi, yeah, and then under mu'annas hakiki, mu'annas majazi. Yeah, but because they have already split it like this, so maybe this is why the person who did this chart, yeah, Allahu Alam, he chose this to be this way so that it looks something like this. Yeah. Okay, so here I've just translated again with the examples, yeah, just for your convenience. Alhamdulillah. Lafzan and ma'anan, yeah. If you drop the alif lam, usually they say as lafzan and ma'anan. Actually, it's a nice English translation. They call it in letter and in spirit. In letter and in spirit. I thought that was a nice translation. Okay. So we saw in this chart just now, yeah, I've highlighted this, fake feminine. Okay, we're going to zoom into fake feminine. This one has figurative meaning or a form wording in terms of the form of the word, yeah? So here I'm saying, so in wording, al-mu'annas lafzi, al-mu'annas majazi, in meaning, all right? Form, figurative. So we're going to look at this a little bit more. We saw this, tamabuta, we know this. This is the most used to turn words into feminine. We just take the masculine form, we add a ta at the tamabuta at the end, voila, it becomes feminine. Alif maqsura, yeah, there are rules to this. Mamduda. Yeah, of course we have the other ones, as we said, atun, atin, yeah, things like that. That's for the plurals. So for the word to be treated feminine, these endings must not be from a root letter. So that means it wasn't a ya something that got converted to hamza. Yeah, this is not from a ya, you know, it is a root letter, you know. So if it is a root letter, then it is not going to be feminine, yeah, because it's a root letter. It has to have the alif maqsura and the mamduda as something that is on top of the root letters, yeah. Okay, so let's look at example of this one. This is the comparatives that we're looking at. So ahsanu, ahsanu, it means better. You saw this. This one, when we add alif lam, remember, this becomes best, but this is the masculine form. And when you want to make it feminine, there you add the maqsura. It becomes al husna. The form changes as well, yeah? The form changes as well. So we see this in this ayah. This is Surah Isra. By whatever name you invoke him, by whatever name you call Allah, it is the same. For to him belong the best of names. Yeah, the best names. So same here, akbaru, akbaru, that's what we saw just now, al-kubra. So the feminine form is greatest. Yeah, so that's why we have here, we treat this as feminine because we're looking at asma, yeah, and here we're looking at tamma. So that's why we're looking at kubra. Okay, so this is maqsura. Then we have mamduda. Usually we see this with colors. Yeah. So we have abiyad, white, ahmar, red, akhdu, green. Yeah. So azraq, asfar. Yes. And these are the feminine forms. We add the alif mamduda. Yeah. So it's not part of the root letters. It's an addition. We see this in the Quran. Yes. When we talked about the Bani Israel, they were asking a lot of questions. Now Allah asked them to slay a cow, and they said what type of cow, what color. They asked all sorts of questions because they were like dragging their feet. They were not going to follow what Allah told them to do without question. And quickly they had, they kept on asking questions. And the more questions they asked, the more difficult it became. Yeah. All right. So this is for colors, and the other one is for body defects. Abakamu, akma, awaj. This is the masculine. And then when you want to make it feminine, you add the alif mamduda. Yeah. So for our study of the Quran, what we are concerned with is when we want to see what is the plural for all this. Yeah. So you see, that's why sometimes there's an overlap, and that's why we get confused. Okay. So how do we make plural of colors? And how do we make plural of body defects? In terms of comparatives, we don't really go for plurals, yeah, because we're comparing things. It's a quality. So usually qualities, we don't have plurals. Okay. So we use what pattern in the form of fu'lun, yeah, fa ain lam, fa kalima, ain kalima, lam kalima. So fu'lun is the pattern that we use when we want to make them plural. Okay, what do I mean by this? So we have here, just now we saw abakamu, akma, a'ma, ahdaru. And this is the feminine form, but we want to make it plural now. So what do? We use this pattern. Yeah, so it becomes bu'mun, umyun, khudrun. Yeah, I think you've seen this in the Quran. And summum, bu'mun, umyun, fahum la yarji'un. For black, it follows the pattern. Yes, it follows the pattern, but the Arabs did not like it when it was boydun. Yeah, just boydun somehow did not sound nice, so they made it into bidun. Yeah, I think if you've been looking at the videos, you know which video I'm referring to when I talk about this, inshallah. Okay. So let's just have a look at our majazi now. Just now was lafzi, so now it's majazi. So these are the ones that we like to memorize. Yeah. Possible categories, proper names of places, usually feminine. Proper names of tribes, feminine. Human body parts in pairs, your eyes, what else? Your hands, yeah, your ears, your lips. Yeah, this one are all treated feminine. And you know this as well. Broken plurals, non-human. You also treat it as feminine. Name of winds, names of hellfire, names of liquor, and of course the unwritten rules, yeah, because the Arab says so. And this is the one that we memorize from the piece of poetry. Okay, some of the notes that I put in here about our gender. The only time Alim Maksura shows a word is feminine is when it is for the superlative, like what you asked just Hazim. Yeah. The word hudan is not feminine because it's part of the root letter. It means guidance and is fake masculine. Yeah, because it's not male. Yeah, it's not male. It does not procreate. No, it doesn't marry. It doesn't have children. Yeah, so it is actually fake masculine. And the word iman is also fake masculine. Yes, unless it's the name of a girl. then it is real feminine, yeah, because she's a girl. So even though the name is Iman, it's supposed to be fake feminine because it's a quality, but because it's a girl's name, then it becomes female because she is female. Yeah. So a noun, take note, cannot be both real and figurative at the same time. Yeah, you have to make up your mind. Yeah, is whether the thing is real or whether it's figurative. Yeah, so it can't be both. The only way it can be both if there's no sign of feminine sign. Yeah, there's no feminine sign to it. But usually I'd stick to this. Yeah, we get really confusing. And then of course, Ustad says nothing beats reality. Even if a girl, you know, if she has the name of Zaid, because she is a girl in real life, then she'll be treated as feminine grammatically and under all circumstances, of course. Yeah, so this is some notes that I put together. Now, the other thing is we were talking about numbers. We were talking about when the gender did not agree. Yeah, that means the gender of the number did not agree with the gender of the one being counted, the ma'dud. There are other cases as well. This is something you come across in the Quran time and again. Yeah, and then there are questions on this. I see questions people ask in our groups. And it's interesting because there's really an advanced way of looking at this, but I don't want to go into too much detail on it because I think this one we should take a bit at a time. Yeah, just take a bit at a time. But I will mention so that you are aware of what might be happening when you see a gender conflict. What do I mean by gender conflict? Yeah, when you expect it to be feminine, but it is not. You expect it to be masculine, how come it's not? Yeah. So this is what I mean by gender conflict. So what are the cases when this can happen? Okay. Okay, conflicting conjugation can occur. Conjugation is when you look at the verb and then the doer is not feminine as what you expect. It's masculine, or the doer is masculine, but it's not feminine. When you expect it to be feminine, things like that. Yeah, so that's what you mean by conflicting conjugation. So one of the main reasons why, yeah, when there is something that's more to the meaning in that verse. So you have to look at the ayah before it, the ayah after it. Yeah, and then what is Allah talking about and what is he trying to highlight? Yeah? Then you figure, oh, okay, maybe because of this, that's why this is feminine instead of being masculine. Yeah, things like that. And then we have something called when the feminine conjugation coincides with maximal plural. Maximal plural is usually numbers more than 9. Yeah, and when a word has maximal plural, you have words that can have up to 40 patterns, 40. I'm not kidding. Yeah, so this is what you call maximal plural. And then when it is meaning that this particular object or thing that we're discussing, this particular noun, has only minimal plural, yeah, then maybe it might have just 4 patterns. Yeah, this is we're talking about the numbers of 3 to 9. Yeah, 3 to 9. You call it a killa. Killa is small and minimal. Yeah, this one kasra is a lot. Yeah, so so usually we tend to look at those with minimal plural as masculine, and the one with maximal plural as feminine. Yeah, that's one reason why. As a means of criticism, this is something. Or from the grammatical point of view, when the fi'il and fa'il are separated by multiple words, and then they say conflicting conjugation is preferred. Okay, so this is something as we have built up our relationship with the Quran, as we read and read, we mark down. Okay, there's this conflicting gender thingy here. So you just take note, the word, the page, the surah, and then you see what's happening. Yeah? We see what's happening. But there are books on this. Yeah, there are books on this. I don't know. Yeah, there are books on this, and if you want to know more, yeah, maybe we can find out how you can go about it. So let's look at an example. Yeah, what I mean by this. Now this one, actually you need to look at the verse before. You need to look at the verse before. But this is a case where you would go, this is feminine, but we're talking about something that is not feminine. Haqqa is a fi'il madi, huwa. But we're looking at dalala. Yeah, so why? Why? So in this case, what I read up on this one, it said here, the verb is conjugated differently from the actual doer to indicate that the misguidance is a punishment. So this one, because the ayat before this was talking about azab. Yeah, it was talking about azab. And the reason for conflict in usage is usually deduced from observation. The reason, this is something that needs a bit of, how do you say, you need to think about it. Yeah, you need to think about it. Maybe we can discuss this further, but when I can put the other ayah before this, and then we can, yeah. So here again, dalala includes the implication of punishment. It says here. I can't. No, I have to. Can you remember this for me? Then maybe we can open up the Quran, yeah, because it's on the slideshow. 7:30. Yeah. Okay. Then we can look at it back again. But this one, however, is clearer. Yeah. This one is easier to understand. Here, remember the word mu'akibatun. Mu'akibatun. We was talking about the angels, and that this is the meaning of guardian angels. Yeah. And we took the angels as being feminine. And there's a conflict here, because here we're talking about yahfazuna. This is Muzakkar Salim. Yeah, this is actually for masculine. It's conjugated in a masculine way. If it had followed this one, it would have been yahfazna. Yeah, yahfazna. The huna version of this verb. Yeah, but no, it was yahfazuna. Yeah, just like the normal masculine sound masculine form. Yeah. So in this case, why? Why? I do not know. Yeah, because but it happens. Yeah, it happens. But I'm thinking in my mind, what do you think? What do you think? Any suggestions? Why was this done? Is it because of quantity, do you think? Any ideas? Have you come across this case before? Sister Rashida, have you come across?
Actually, I cannot find out why it is.
But this is what I mean by gender conflict. It occurs in the Quran. Yeah, it occurs in the Quran. But why is it? I do not know. But this looks like this looks like a minimal plural. Maybe that's why. But I do not know whether that's the reason. But this is something that it was highlighted in one of the notes that was how do you say, circulated when we did the dream program. But like I said, I'm still learning this, but I would like to highlight this because it's something that I would like to show that it does happen. Yeah, it does happen, this gender conflict. More comfortable with, however, with the next slide. Okay, so maybe inshallah we can have a look at this again and think about it. About Habar and Muqtada. Yeah, this one I'm a bit more comfortable with because this is easier to understand. Yeah, why it happens. Now we know when we have a jumla ismiyah, we have the Muqtada and we have the Habar. Usually there is agreement between the two. Yeah, usually there is an agreement within the two. But in this case, it's saying that if all right, the khabar is jamid. Jamid here and wasp here is a soft thing. Yeah, it's a soft thing. And how we look at it is all the mushtaqat or the derived nouns, yeah, the ones that are mushtaq. Mushtaq means to be derived. We call them wasp, yeah, when they are talking, when we're looking at isim fa'il, isim maf'ul, wrong spelling there, sifah mushabbaha, and isim tafdil. Yeah, but for isim tafdil, it has its own rules, as we saw earlier. Yeah, but usually when the khabar is in this form, then it will agree with the mubtada. But when it is jamid, like isim ala is the names of tools, yes. Isim makan, name of place, name of time, yeah, zaman, yes. So that doesn't have to be an agreement. So if you're talking about yaum, yeah, in terms of time, for example, isim makan, masjid, for example, yeah, that does not have to be an agreement. Okay, so I'm showing you an example here of when it is wasp and when it is in agreement. Yes, you can see here when it is in agreement. So Mudaris, Waqifun, these are both masculine. Zainab, both are feminine. Tulab, these are male students, so it's also feminine. Sorry, masculine. Waibun, your sound masculine. Talibatu, yeah, this is a group of ladies who are students. And then, of course, we will say that they are absent. Waribatun, because they are a group of ladies. Yeah, so we have atun. And then this is hands. The hands, remember, body parts in pairs are feminine. So maksuratun. Yeah, so he broke his hands. Yeah, that's basically it. So this is when we have, as we said, isim fa'il. Yeah, this is all isim fa'il. This is maf'ul. Yeah, so that's how it is. They are wasp. They're called wasp because it's a quality. Khabar jamid, when the khabar is jamid, meaning it is either a place, like I said, in the madrasa is a place. Yeah? And here, kitab is also a jamid word. Yes, it's not from kataba. Yeah, jamid kitab. And then here we're talking about head. Yes, rasu. And then here we're talking about miftah. Yeah. So here there is no agreement. Yeah, like say maybe my house is a school. Maybe our gentleman here whose house he maybe renovated and became a school. So now my house is a school. Yeah, and here is it's saying that this magazine is a book. Yes, this magazine is a book. So you see, one is feminine, one is not. Yeah, and here we see here, raksu. Yeah, here means not a very nice saying actually. This woman is a source of disturbance. Yeah, fitnah. Yeah. And here, Lughatu Arabiya, Miftahu Fahamil Quran al Karim. So it's saying here the Arabic language is the key to understanding the Quran. Yeah. So Miftah, and these are two different. This is the Mubtada is feminine, but Miftah is masculine. Yeah, because it's Jami. It would be wrong in this case for a Jamid word and you made it in agreement with the Muqtada. It would not be correct Arabic. Yeah, so that's why we need to recognize this. Okay, this is just the translation for your information. Okay, so I'm about to finish here. So Alhamdulillah, we have time for our quiz.
Sister?
Yes.
I have one example in mind that in Surah Yusuf, this is the Ustad normally he explained this that Qala niswatun, right? The ladies to told when the Yusuf then there is used Qala niswatun. Like
Okay.
here, hakka, you shows hakka dalalatu like this. And then the Ustad explained that here is scholar for that purpose, that they are the and two different opinion. One is that not all the women,
Mm-hmm.
a group of women who are higher as in society, that woman, so that is used kola, masculine, and niswatun, that is the feminine. The file is feminine.
Because it's minimal plural, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
And another group, they have said that it may be a man and woman both, they told. That's why
Mm-hmm.
it is called, I use some men also
Oh, so they
whispered about
include
this
they
thing.
use masculine to include both the woman and the man.
Both women,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
As the
Okay.
file is feminine, so maybe
Ah.
I don't know this, the your hakka,
Mm,
that the verb also maybe it will have.
mm. Okay. Alhamdulillah. So this is something that he said, yes, which I
He said,
find is correct. Yes, he said, because if you're in doubt, yeah, you just look at the Quran, see what is being used with that word. Of course, not all the time we can understand or explain why Allah said it. After all, Allahu Alam, right? He knows best. Allah knows best what He wants to say. But if we sit and think about it, yeah, based on what the guidelines that are given, yeah, then maybe inshallah
yeah,
we can understand
yeah.
better. Mhm. What was the surah just now? I was saying 7:30, was it? The one can we remember? Uh,
7:30.
7:30, right? Let's see whether we can understand anything from it. 7:30. Okay, said that the word before this. Let me pull out my notes. If we can't understand it the first time around, then we'll come back to it when we can. Okay, what it says here is, okay, it includes, that means he's saying that Dalala includes the possibility of the azab. Where's the azab? Where's the azab? Hmm. Do you see the azab? What does this mean? Why doesn't it stick? Yeah. Hilal is always very wordy. Let me get to Sahih. Sahih is easier to understand. She's so short. My Lord has ordered justice and that you maintain yourself in worship. Okay, and this is what we saw just now. It says here, includes Kama Tadakum. Kama, oh, this one. He will return you to life. Oh, I do not know. I am clueless here. I am clueless here. Maybe we have to come back to this, inshallah. See what it means. But the conflict is there, yeah, because of these two. But why the conflict is there, I do not understand. Okay. Yeah, we come back to this, inshallah, when we know better, inshallah. Okay. So now I would like to go over the quiz, two things. Let me open the quiz thing, inshallah. Did you manage to do the quiz? Yes, you did. Yes, Sister Rashida? You did.
What is what you're asking?
The quiz. Did you
Yeah,
manage to do the quiz?
yeah
Yeah.
yeah I did. Minister.
All right.
You did not get it? I don't know. I did it.
I have the responses here. Oh, sorry. I hope you
Oh,
don't mind. I just want to show the email actually. Oops, what happened to the email? Oh yeah, there's the email. Okay, I shouldn't show that. Hmm.
maybe. Oh,
Yeah, it's not
maybe
there.
I did.
So never mind. Maybe I did not get it. Somehow it's got lost.
Somehow,
Okay.
maybe, maybe
Okay, never mind.
I,
So this is more or less straightforward, right? I think there is nothing here that is difficult. But what I want to highlight was two questions that was on. Did you have any questions on this one, Sister Radley? No?
I forget which question. I'll leave you back, inshallah.
Okay, you can PM me on this. There are two things that was highlighted. That is the kafa wa makfufa. Yeah, kafa wa makfufa, which is for innama, where is my innama? And the other one was kafa innama. What happened to my innama? Which one is it? And the taswiyah. Yeah. أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم? And here, there are 10 and 11. These two questions. So what is taswiyah and why is innama kafa ma'fufa? Okay, so I'm going to try and explain this to you as soon as I can. Bear with me, it's already 10 o'clock, so might need about 10 to 15 minutes of your time. The first thing we'll tackle is your taswiyah. Taswiyah is when you equate two things together. So this question, it doesn't have an answer because it's not actually a question per se, because what you're saying is basically taswiyah, to indicate equal. Whether you want them or not, they're not going to change. Yeah, whether you want them or not, they're not going to change. So thing about ilmu ma'ani in balaghah, yeah, sometimes doesn't mean that there is a requirement for an answer, especially in the Quran, because I do not, Allah doesn't really expect you to answer him. Yeah. So these are some notes that I copied down during the intensive balaghah, and there's actually 22 secondary meanings behind a question. So I'm not going to go through the 22, but I'll go through maybe the first 10 because these are the common ones. Yes, the common ones. So when the question is actually a command, can you see the wordings? Are they too small or are they large enough for you? Yeah, the big enough? A little bit bigger. All right. So what is when it is a command? The question is, like one. فهل أنتم منتهون? فهل أنتم منتهون? Why don't you stop? Actually, it's trying to say, why don't you stop? Why don't you stop? But it's a question, but it's like more like, please stop. You're doing yourself more harm. Yeah, it's actually a command, although it's in the form of a question. Yeah. Or the other one is when it is you're being prohibited from doing something. Yeah. And then here is a question: are you afraid of them? Are you afraid of them? No, don't be afraid of them. Basically, you're saying don't be afraid of them. So you're telling them not to be afraid, but you're putting it in a question. So this one, the third one is the one that we're looking at, the taswiyah, a question that equates two things. Is there a difference between warning them or not warning them? Of course, there's no difference. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to change. They're going to still disbelieve. They're going to still do fasad. Yeah. So that this is why we say this. And we see this form in quite a few ayahs in the Quran. Yeah, and we say yeah. So that's the taswiyah. And nafi, when the question negates. Yeah. This is a question. Is being the best be anything short of the best? Yeah, is being the best be anything short of the best? So this is another question, but it's actually saying no, there's nothing. There's nothing better than the best. Yeah, basically. The other one is inkar, when you ask a question, but actually you are scolding the person. No, how dare you? No, something like that. This is inkar. And then we have tashwik. Tashwik is when you want to inspire somebody. You want to say, hey, I've got a surprise for you. Guess what I have? You know, things like that. So this is one that you find in Surah Al-Saf, which is really nice. Yeah. Shall I guide you to a transaction that will save you from a painful punishment? So this is something that he's encouraging you. You know, why do you want to do this? Do this instead. You know, I'm not going to punish you. I'm going to reward you if you do this. So this is tashweek. Yeah. This is an expression of love, like istisna. Yes, in a different thing. So this is when you are asking a question. Yeah, but you are actually uh, um, saying it in a loving way. Yeah. So are you okay? You know, or are you the one who cooked this delicious meal? You know, you're trying to imply that, wow, you know, this was really nice. So are you the one? You know, so this is uh, tenderness that you're saying. Like when Allah asked Moses, you know, what's that you have in your hand? You know, when he was holding his staff. And when he took out his hand, it went all bright. Yeah. So questions that mean something else. Takrir, here's of course, yeah, when you want to kind of like demand something. Yeah. Tahwil. Tahwil. This one is interesting. Tahwil, to imitate, to terrify. There's other ways of doing this. Yeah. Do you notice in the same surah, Al-Haqah? I can't remember the actual ayah. Al-Haqqa. Al-Haqqa is what was the number just now? 69. There is a way of writing certain things. This is a very long ayah, right? Oh, wow. Radiyatin, jannah, khaliyah. Here. This one. This ha. This ha. Yeah, this is actually kitabiyah, but we have a ha at the end. Hisabiyah. There is a ha at the end. Yeah. And this ha here is what we call ha tahwil. Tahwil. Either you want to scold someone, yeah, and you have this ha at the end because the ha comes from your diaphragm, right? Deep in your lungs. So it's like to scare them or something like that. Yeah. So it's not actually a root letter. It's not a pronoun. No, it's not a pronoun. Yeah. It's just something to make the sound deeper. 26, and there is a name. They call it also Lil Kasah, if I'm not mistaken, 6926. Sometimes 6926. Okay. Yes, this is called al-ha lil kasat, yeah, because it wants a sakat. It wants to emphasize something, and you usually put it at the end of words with a weak letter at the end, yeah, so that the sound becomes more serious in a way, yeah. So tahwil is that, yeah, to intimidate, not only in terms of a question, but in terms of adding a letter at the end. Yes, and the 10th one here is when you want to ask something that is unlikely or impossible to happen. Yeah, this is what one of the Prophet's alayhi wasallam's wives, when she was given the news that she was going to get pregnant when she was an old lady. Yeah, so she asked a question more out of surprise than anything else. Yeah, how am I going to give birth? I'm an old lady. Yeah, so these are the other meanings of istifham. Okay, that's what we have time for. And the other one was kafa ma'fufa. This one is actually, we did this during class, yes, kafa ma'fufa. So maybe you have forgotten what it means. It's basically ma added to Inna and her sisters. Yeah. So we have innama, we also have annama, ka'annama. This is what we find in the Quran. We also have something called laitama, but laitama you won't find it in the Quran. Yeah, this one is daily use. Yeah. So this ma is not isim mausul. Yes, it is not ma masdari. Although occasionally, one or two occasions, yes, it is. Yeah, it is what we call ma kafa. Why we say it's ma kafa is because it stops the inna from doing what it does. It doesn't make the thing after it nasab anymore. Yeah, so that's why we say kafa. And ma'fufa is the thing that it prevents from behaving the way it should. In other words, inna is the ma'fufa. Yes, the one that is being prevented. So we have two types of ma. We call this ma zaidah because it's not translate. It's there just to give emphasis. Yeah, it's just there to give emphasis. I'll put up these notes for you since we're running out of time. Yeah, but ma zaidah, which is kafa, we also have ma zaidah, which is ghair kafa. It doesn't stop anything. Yeah, because remember the ma in Jawa Majrur, we learned about half of jar that was zaidah. Yeah, that didn't change anything, but it gave emphasis to the meaning. So this is the other ma. So we have one here that does not change. Yeah, ghair kafa. Yeah. So this is the one that is half of jar. Yeah. So if you see it here, for example, amma, an is half of jar, right? So it does not stop an from making qalil majrur. Yeah. But it does give emphasis to the meaning. In a little while, they are sure to be regretful. Not here. The nun here is the one that gives you that they are sure to be grateful in a little while. Yeah. So this is the added meaning or emphasis that this ma gives, but it doesn't change anything. Whereas this other ma, it does stop. It does stop the word after it from becoming mansub, and it does this in a good way because it allows your inna to be used in a jumla fi'iliyah as well. Yeah. So it actually allows, I think I mentioned this before, the inna, the ma stops inna from behaving like a half of nas. It also allows inna, remember this is supposed to be in a jumla ismiyah because it's an isim, it works on an isim. But when you use this ma, you can take this inna and give emphasis to a jumla fi'iliyah. Yeah. This ma, let's see whether there's an example here. Innamal mu'minuna, no, this is jumlah. But it doesn't change it. It doesn't make it mansub. It leaves them. Here, qalama. Qalama is when you use it with a fi'il. And here it means rally. Qalama. It means rally. Yeah. Qalama yanjah al-qasul. That means rally does the lazy. Kasul is the one who is lazy. Succeed. Yanjah. Yeah. Okay. And examples of anna, annama. We also have annama. Ka'annama, you have here. This one is when it is kafa makfufa, annama. And this anama is not kafa makfufa, one of those rare cases, when it is half of nas. Yeah. And this ma is now ma masdari. Yeah, not ma zaida. So we have to look at the context as well. You know, whether what is it doing and so on and so forth. Okay. So I'll share this with you. Is that okay, Brother Hazim? You understand that part? Are you still there? Yeah. Not clear yet?
When ma masdari, then the
Mhm.
ma and the all together is the nasab, right? In annar, ma and
fi'il ba'da masdar
here
isim, yes, it becomes isim ana. So yes, fi mahali nasab.
ma
Here we
numli.
are.
So ma numli all together.
Yeah, it has become light. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I think, yeah, he's left already. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So that's what I have time for. Alhamdulillah, we have time for tonight. Sorry, I've dragged on so long. But sometimes there's just so much to cover. I don't know where to start and begin sometimes. Alhamdulillah.
No, it's okay.
So anyway, so Sister Radin, your question, you can PM me, yeah, inshallah, and I'll try to answer it.
I think it's
inshallah.
about the taswiyah. So I got
Okay.
it. Alhamdulillah.
All right, good. Alhamdulillah. Okay, then Subhanallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakallah khair.
Amin wa iyyakum.